You're listening to the Survivor Sweat Podcast with Mike Buchmiller and Russell Rosenblum. If you're looking for strategy articles and just about everything Survivor, head to survivorsweat.com. Now, let's get to it.
All right, welcome back, Survivor Sweat Pod. We are in the Simply Las Vegas studio for week 6. The year of the carnage continues.
Oh, yeah.
As the top 2 get clipped again. Are you kidding me?
Every week I have people asking me, so is this contest going to make it to Thanksgiving? Is it going to make it to Christmas? Every week I go, yeah. Now I'm finally going, I think so.
Yeah. I was convinced that, somebody's going to find the path. Somebody's going to make it. There's just
I still think it's likely that it goes. There's still a number of people, but, who knows? Because actually it's interesting. A lot of the teams that normally, if you made it through week 5 into week 6, a lot of the teams that you've used to get there are teams you'd really want later.
Yeah.
In this case, a lot of those teams are the ones that lost.
Right.
So everybody that's still alive largely still has them, except for San Francisco, which has been burned sporadically.
No, absolutely. I look at some of our entries and I'm like, wow, we took some pretty shitty teams.
Correct. We did.
Because any good team that
but
was
that's
taken,
only like 24 teams in the NFL, so they're pretty
I think
pretty
at
bad.
this point they're all shitty.
Pretty much. Looks that way.
Incredible.
Who's good? Like we say every week, who's actually good? Like Kansas City, for example, I don't think they've looked good all year. They're 5-0, and they're still the best team in the NFL.
5-0, cruising, going into
And if you
the
told me
bye.
right now, so like I think I saw Minnesota's number 1 in the power rankings. If you told me right now, exactly, Kansas City's going to play Minnesota on a neutral field. Forget it. Kansas City's going to play Minnesota in Minnesota. I'll just take Kansas. You're going to give me points to take Kansas City? I'll take Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. They just find a way to win.
They do. Mahomes is so exceptionally good.
He's unreal. My name is Mike Buchmiller. This is Russell Rosenblum. Who are we? We are the 2022-23 Circa Survivor champions under the Jet entry name. And
More importantly, we're still alive in 2024.
we are still alive. And the Jed 4 entry that got through in 2002 is still alive.
Was it Jed 4?
Jed 4.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely incredible. I cannot believe that it's still there. Week 5 recap, if you don't already know, 258 hit the skids. We are now at 221 entries out of the 14,266 entries that started this contest that seems like forever ago, and we're only through week 5.
It's crazy.
Unreal. 98.5% of the pool has been eliminated through week 5, and for the second week in a row, everybody got their picks in.
That's true. It's too bad. I think it's everybody left is listening to the pod we took, because without listening to us, you wouldn't know to get the
All
picks in.
220-something of them. Yeah, last year after 5 weeks, 19.8% of the pool survived. This year, we have a whopping 1.5% of the pool that have a dream of the 14.266 winner-take-all prize. Absolutely incredible. I mean, where do we even begin? What is your biggest takeaway from week 5?
That I was a sucker. That, every week, and for those of us that...
We were suckers.
Yeah, correct. That's fair. For those of you that want to beat up on us, it's well-deserved, so I'll take it. Every week I get out here and tell you not to take the chalk. And, sometimes you think a team isn't going to be the chalk, and they are. Now, grant you, that's an oversimplification. There are times where the math still have you taking the chalk if they are a big enough favorite. The other options aren't good enough. And although they're the chalk, it's not like 80% of the field's taking them. Maybe it's 28 or whatever. In this instance, we agonized. They get 2 hours before we put the picks in. We put half our picks in on Seattle. And we knew they'd be the chalk, and they were. And in terms of the percentage ownership, we were within a few points. It was pretty much what we thought it would be. So everything points to we shouldn't take them. All the math spit out, take them anyway. And we sat there. I remember I was out of town, and you texted me and said, speak now or forever hold your peace. And I'm supposed to just give you the thumbs up, put them in. And instead I stepped away from where I was, and I called you. We spent another 30 minutes on the phone looking for every reason we could to not take Seattle. And the problem was there was just no one else we wanted. Now, at the end of the day, the thing we missed on, I don't know how we get there necessarily, but the thing we missed on is we thought Washington was going to be substantially more popular than they were.
Correct.
And if you had, roughly twice as many people taking them, there wouldn't be a lot of value there. This is not results-oriented because they won. The moment we saw the popularity numbers come out, at that moment, I pinged you immediately, and I said, we screwed up. We should have been on Washington. We should have had a half on Washington and like one on Seattle as opposed to
Correct.
Half on Seattle and one on Denver or something, right? So that was a mistake. It happens, right? You don't know what's going to. And by the way, I say this again: if Seattle won 46-0, it was still a mistake.
It was a mistake. Yeah, for sure. When we saw that 4.8% were on the Commanders, we knew we were in the wrong spot. We're just having a tough time figuring out that third team this year.
It is.
They keep flip-flopping on us.
It is. And I think I can't remember if I mentioned this last week in the pod. I feel like I did, but I'm not sure. Even though Seattle was everybody's best spot, everybody's best pick, a few guys we knew that didn't take Seattle didn't take them because they didn't have Seattle.
Correct.
And they were saying this is in a bad spot. They don't have Seattle. They don't have San Francisco. Like they're just said push and pray, right? He's going to push the button and pray they win. He had the Bears. They got through. But, you look at this and it's still the NFL. Any team can still win, as you know. And even though the Giants are missing two of their most talented offensive players, they're still playing on a short week. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Seattle's playing on a short week. The Giants are playing on, what they call the mini bye, right? The
10
Thursday.
days rest, yep.
10 days rest. That alone is a big difference, even heading up to Seattle.
No, for sure. I mean, we knew they were going to be the chalk. We were actually looking at week 5 since
a month ago or more, or whatever.
A month
It's
ago.
been a while.
The beginning of week 2, we noticed it was a bottleneck. We held back Seattle in opportunities where we could have taken them. We actually discussed about that actually being a special week, the Thanksgiving, Christmas. The fact that there was I think there was 2 teams that were 70%. Everything was in the 60s and the 50s.
The Bears. The Bears were the other one.
So
then the Bears sort of dropping down as they looked worse and worse in weeks 1 through 4.
So we looked at the Bears. We were looking at Washington. We have no 49ers. Seattle. We didn't like our spot. I mean,
right.
And sure enough, we get clipped with those entries. So
yep. We deserved it.
We deserved
Stinks,
it.
but we deserved it. We got what we deserved.
Yep. You get what you deserve.
So for all you people out there going, I took such a bad beat taking Seattle, you got what you deserve.
Yeah.
Just as we did.
We did skinny through for sure.
We did.
We had a few entries on the Bears and the old Broncos. Just how we drew it up.
They kind of owed us.
The Broncos do owe us.
They still owe us.
They still owe us.
So many entries last year.
Just how we drew it up, the Broncos.
The thing is, and maybe a lot of people disagree with me here. Maybe there's one guy that disagrees with me here, and that guy's not Davante Adams. I don't think the Raiders are that good.
I don't think so.
I think Davante Adams would probably agree with me.
I think he could help them.
By getting them some trade value when he leaves.
Just rough.
Poor guy, his hamstring. It's rough.
Yeah, just absolutely rough. So how did last year's Circa Survivor champions do? Well, the Jags had 3 on the Bears and 3 on the Broncos.
That's where I wish we were.
Man, they get through. They have 6 remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Tough. And Alex Browna, who was co-champs with us in 2022.
Yep.
He survived with the Jags.
Yeah, I didn't have the Stones. We were avoiding the Jags. We didn't want any piece of that game at all.
I mean, and he survives now using a non-credible team.
That's for sure.
So, 6.9% were on him. So he gets to slip through there. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Jags. You guys are in a great spot. Are there any other champions out there? Unsure, unclear.
But I'm sorry, are you saying we used a credible team with Denver?
Well, no.
There you go.
Yeah, we got through with the Broncos.
We did.
And we got through with the Bears. So, yeah.
And these were 2 teams I said preseason. They were on my list of the special 12. The 12 teams that even if you make it through 20 picks, we never take. So
this is
things change quick in the NFL.
Extraordinary contest.
Well, I remember at one point we thought we might be saving Miami. I'm glad we burned a couple week 1 because what else are you going to do with them? If Tua doesn't come back, they're useless.
No, for sure. Well, enough of the carnage of the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Well, and then you got that Thursday game, right? You had the the Falcons and the Bucks. And gun to my head, it was funny. We joked with this. We had a friend text us over, and he's in our group, and he said, do we have any picks on the, anything on Thursday night's game? And he's just a huge Falcons fan. And I replied back, we got a third of our picks on Tampa. Let's root hard. And I just left it at that. And he's like, wait, what? No, we didn't have any picks in the Thursday game. But gun to our head, we talked about it. We actually like Tampa.
Oh, I love Tampa.
We actually bet Tampa.
I absolutely loved Tampa. And
I still do.
They looked pretty good until, until they didn't. My brother-in-law texted me about an hour before lock there on Thursday. He's like, do we have any Tampa? I was like, no action.
Right. But it's easy to torture this Falcons friend guy. He texted me on Sunday morning, if you remember this, and said, so, are the picks in yet? Are we going to get the picks in on time? And I texted back, copying Mike, and said, well, I'm in Michigan. It depends what time my flight lands when I get back. And he said, wait, what? Whether we get the picks in on time depends on whether you get back. And I just let him float there for a while until Mike replied and said, no, I'm here. No. Mike was the team proxy this week.
Yep. Got the picks.
You couldn't have screwed it up and not put it in Seattle?
No, I double, triple.
Better you miss Seattle and just put it in.
I don't want to be the no pick.
Yeah, no, maybe no pick's better than Seattle. All right.
As it turns out. That's it for week 5. We'll look ahead for week 6 when we come back.
Missing out on the biggest sports contest of the year just because you're not in Las Vegas? Now there's a solution with Survivor Sweat. Play from anywhere in the Circa Millions, Circa Survivor, or any of the biggest sports contests with America's first secondary marketplace to buy and sell contest entries. Buy an entry in the marketplace and then submit your picks each week into the contest using our preferred proxy partners. Make a deep run in a winner-take-all contest? Sell any piece of your Survivor entry in the Survivor Sweat secondary marketplace. Set your price, stake, and pick control status, and buyers can join the action from anywhere. Buyers can even resell their stake if the entry increases in value. Think of it as an eBay for sports contests. Now's your chance to win over $16 million. To learn more, visit survivorsweat.com and get started today.
Okay, we're back. Look ahead to week 6. Current lines, top plays, win rate, availability. Man, there's quite a list of teams to take this week.
Well, it's funny because week 5 there were no teams to take. There were like 2 basically, and then everybody kind of pushed and prayed, and they all got through. The 2 teams that were takeable both lost. This week you've got a lot of teams that it's all sort of, there are a lot more large favorites this week, and I just hate all of them anyway. So I don't know what you want me to tell you.
It looks like the pop pick this week is going to be the Eagles.
It does, and I believe they will be.
Depending on what shop, at -8.5, -9 versus the Browns. The Browns just look horrible. Like they can't get it together with Deshaun Watson over there. Just incredible. 79% win rate. You got the Eagles coming off the bye. Both receivers are supposed to be back. Brown and Smith. Week rest. Barkley. I mean, what can go wrong?
Sirianni still has a job as opposed to the guy in New York.
I'll tell you, we have a lot of Eagle fans in our group, and I'm telling you, if the Eagles do not get it done, I don't know, is Sirianni the next guy on the block?
Probably. I'm amazed he's still there. And by the way, I don't actually think he's terrible. A lot of people think he's terrible, but it's not the point. The point is that he's been consensus terrible, regardless of what I think. And I was surprised. We've talked about this before. I was surprised either Sirianni or Mike McCarthy made it out of the playoffs last year, that they were able to make it to this year, and completely shocked. If you gave me the parlay of, I would have said they're both more likely to be fired than both more likely to have jobs. Clearly one of the 2 of them should have been fired.
I mean, the GM over there, it just keeps loading up with the Eagles. They have one of the best rosters in the league, offensive, defensive line, skill players galore. I mean, they got to get it done. They just have to get it done.
You talking about the Raiders? No, I'm sorry. My mistake. It's close, though. It's close.
Up next, you got the Texans -7 at going to New England. So, I mean, what can go wrong there?
Texans are pretty good. They're on the road. They are pretty good. They do play later in the year.
Yes, they do. They are also involved in a special week.
Yep.
You got, how about this game? Ravens Commanders. The 2 quarterbacks that almost like in a mirror. I mean, they are just absolutely incredible. The way they can extend plays, the way they're throwing the football. I mean, how do you defend something like that? That's tough.
I don't know. You asked me, putting Survivor aside, I don't know. I like the value in taking Commanders' money line. Just because they've been so good, but maybe I'm just the sucker. Maybe the Commanders are the sucker. They're finally playing a really good team. Maybe that's the gist here. I mean, the Ravens are one of the best teams in football. Their loss to the Raiders notwithstanding, which is, it's a fluky loss. It happens. And for all you people that busted on the Ravens versus the Raiders, sorry to say that, but it does happen in the NFL.
Yep.
The Commanders, it's just really unclear. Are they as good as they look? Or they just haven't played great teams? Like, at some point, are they going to revert to the mean? So far, no. So, I don't know.
I mean, the fact that only, 4% took him last, even the general public doesn't quite know yet.
Put it this way. Everybody's saying that the Commanders have to revert to the mean, right? Like, it's been sort of fluky. They played bad teams. If you literally just, exact same team, and just throw that red uniform on them, call them the Chiefs, everyone's just going to say they're crushing the league. No one's going to say they're reverting to the mean, right? Like, so maybe this is their mean. Maybe they're that good. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, Kansas City hasn't looked good. They're the best team in the NFL. They still haven't looked great.
The only other team that has a win rate of 70% or higher is Falcons -6 at the Panthers.
I mean, the Falcons are the beneficiary of got to be one of the best schedules in football. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Their division is so soft. And they've come so close to losing a couple of games. I mean, I guess it's a good spot for them here. If you ask me between them, it's probably a better spot for them than some of these other teams. Although, I don't know. Cleveland's pretty bad. New England isn't great. I mean, all three of those teams are, all three of those opponents are not particularly good.
Yeah. Then you got the Packers there, home versus the Cardinals, -5.
So are the Cardinals good or not?
Which Cardinals team's going to show up? I mean,
or is it which 49er team shows up?
That's
Maybe
true.
The Cardinals aren't that good. The 49ers aren't that good.
They show up until about the fourth quarter.
Well, yes. Show up the whole time.
I mean, how can they not finish games? That's twice already this year. I think they've lost a couple Super Bowls that way, too.
That's what I hear.
It's incredible. Incredible.
As opposed to the Falcons?
And then you got a buffet of games below that. You got the Bucs at the Saints. It looks like Carr's going to be out. Rattler might be in. Maybe Rattler's better than Carr.
He actually looked good, but it's so hard to tell because you're going to have teams playing soft zones and stuff in blowout games. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
But he did look pretty good, even though the refs swallowed their whistle, tried to get out of the stadium at the end of the game.
Anybody going to jump on the Niners -3 at Seahawks? I mean, I believe 31% of the pool has them left. I mean,
someone will.
Yeah, who knows?
Someone will.
Who knows? Bengals at Giants, Chargers at Broncos. Broncos look credible now. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
when you say credible, right?
And then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Did you skip over the Bengals Giants?
No, I said Bengals.
Oh, I'm
Giants,
sorry, I missed them. I guess just it's easy to not hear Bengals. It just goes.
Well, Bengals have kind of been a sore subject this year for people.
You think? Hey, almost everybody should have them.
88% of the pool have them.
I would think so.
Yep.
Is that because only 12% of the original pool ever took them? No. I wonder what percentage we finally did lose just with various Bengals picks. It's got to be 80% of the pool plus or something.
It's look that
more than that.
Sure.
It's probably well more than that.
Yeah. And then you got as I mentioned before, the Steel Curtain coming in to play the Raiders. How do you like that one?
I don't think this Raiders team deserves the Chris Berman Raiders. It's just not. This is not the same team.
Is Fields going to remain the starter, or is Russell Wilson coming out?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, they didn't look great last week, but they haven't really looked great. They've just last week, notwithstanding, they found ways to win games. Dallas is a strange bird too. You come into the season thinking they're going to be a credible team, and then as we talked about, they spent what they're spending. I don't know exactly how the cap splits out, but like $90 million a year, roughly. I don't know which year it's 90, but $90 million a year on two guys between their quarterback and their wide receiver, between Lamb and Dak. How do you field a team? Like your whole cap is like $240 million. How do you field a team when you got like 40% of your money on two guys?
So how good did you feel after week one if you were holding back the Cowboys to play the Giants, as opposed to fast forward 5 weeks?
Yep.
Wow.
I think we're holding back the Cowboys to play the Giants. I think we have other options. One of those other options could be the Giants. Who knows?
Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, it should be obvious. And, I didn't really think of it at the time, but it should have been obvious if you're tying up that much money on two guys. Once CD got paid, it's just hard to see where they're... Although I don't know how much of the cap money is applied this year, in fairness, because it's going to be spread out. But it's just tough to then sign other guys, even when you're trying to spread that money out. Salary cap matters.
Yeah, it does. Depth matters. So over on the Twitter machine, old Gino at betonly.com, he gives his initial Week 6 Survivor plays. He says the safest picks are the Texans and Eagles.
No.
Safe.
No.
What?
That's shocking. That's hard to believe.
Is
what
safe?
are we defining as safe?
I think I replied like, safe? What the hell is safe? There's no chance. Oh,
And
man.
it's again, and I'm gonna say the same thing I say every week. At least you teed it up for me. I got to swing. Sure, you take the biggest favorite this year, notwithstanding. You're the most likely to advance, but so is everybody else, right? So at the end of the day, would you rather be alive now with 1.5% of the field, having taken some risks, or would you rather be alive with 30% of the field, having taken no risks? Obviously, it's 1.5, all else being equal, right? So by avoiding some of those really good teams, those big favorites, you put yourself in a position to be live with not a lot of people left.
Yeah.
So even if this does go to the end, and I have no idea if it will, even if it does go to the end, you're almost certain to be splitting it with a lot fewer people than you would have been otherwise.
Yeah, all in good fun for safe plays, but he also put decent plays being Ravens, Bengals, the gamble, Steelers, Bucks. So yeah, I mean, we'll see where he goes.
Oh, taking the Steelers or the Bucks.
Yeah.
You mean, yeah, no, those are both interesting games. Like I said, I think the Raiders are, I mean, grant you, they've won, 2 of their last 3 or 4 games. You know, they beat Cleveland. Somehow it's just that, it's that win against the Ravens that I think make people think the Raiders are somewhat credible. But I don't know, like, it's sort of like a last man standing thing over there. I don't know what's up in the organization. It looks like they are committed to the coach. They want to give him some time. Mm-hmm. There were rumors this week that what they tried to trade up in the draft to pick up Jaden, right? And they just weren't successful. And maybe if they did that, they might have been successful. Maybe Devontae's happier or whatever. By the way, where do you think Devontae goes now? Like, people talked about the Jets before. I can't see it. Now, like, they have no head coach. Well, I mean, they still have Rodgers. He can coach. But I don't know who's coaching over there. I don't know what's up with that team either. So I think you take that off the list. You can look at a team like the Chiefs, where I think he'd be a great plug-and-play fit. But
it seems like
the Raiders will not want to trade with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I have no definitive knowledge of this, but it sounds like the Chiefs have the best package on the table.
They have to.
But they won't trade them in division.
That's correct.
Just the backlash on that.
Well, I think it's crazy anyway. I think it's crazy not to trade him with the division. I get it. Except if you don't think the Raiders are really going to be competitive this year, you know, how long are you worried Devontae's really going to be there at peak performance, right? It's 2 years. He might get traded again, right? Yeah. And what do you do if you trade him out of the division? And let's say you trade him just hypothetically to the Jets, doesn't matter. You trade him to the Dolphins, pick a team out of the division, right? And then the Dolphins turn around and just trade him to the Chiefs.
Sure.
You can't control that he doesn't end up there. Yeah. And I think it's a good fit for him. I think he'd go ring chasing. The downside for the Raiders is that he might be willing to restructure to take less money in future years to give himself another shot, whereas with some other teams he wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I think at some point you got to make the trade and not worry about it.
I'd like to see him in Buffalo.
That's another good spot for him.
Buffalo or the Ravens. I think if he wants to go ring chasing.
I see you're keeping him in the conference. How are the Raiders going to get out of the AFC Championship game? By bus?
All right. Well, let us know if you have any thoughts or tough decisions you need to discuss. Who
do you hate? Sorry, of the top picks, who do you hate this week? Is there someone you hate? Not just because of popularity, just a spot you just don't like that you would try to avoid. Not sure yet? Early gut feeling?
That Texans Patriot game just, I don't know, man.
Feels like a trap?
Yeah, those teams going up to Northeast, it just seems too easy. Rookie quarterback coming out there, he's going to get the start. I don't know. I mean, it just, I don't feel great about any top team any longer. But if there's one that I'm looking to avoid, I think it's going to be the Texans.
Yeah, that's fair. And for me, it's that Ravens-Commanders game. Yeah. Even though a lot of numbers say we should probably be on it, and we may end up on it, I just get really queasy about the Commanders. They're a team right now I just hate to bet against. And it's nothing to do with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are great. I really do. They're one of the few teams right now that, I don't know, I feel like it's hard to hang a number on that game. Yeah. And they did their best 6.5. I think it's just hard to hang a number.
You know, Falcons at Panthers just seems so easy. Like it could just, but division game.
Falcons are one of the top 5 teams in their division. And they have been since the division went to 4 teams.
Well, if you are out of the contest and you're thirsting to get back in, head over to survivorsweat.com, the one-stop shop.
Wait a minute. You can still be in the contest and just buy another entry too, you know. They don't require that you're knocked out. I mean, there's something to be said for just picking up another entry.
This is true. The contest was, the platform was cooking last week.
It was. It's amazing.
81 total listings, 88 total offers, 33 sales. The average equity value sale was $37,327. And before we jumped onto the pod, I went over there and took a look. There's over 40 entries, ranging between $800 for 1%,
Right.
all the way up to $95K for 95%. It gives you the price per percentage. The intrinsic value at this time is $64,552, and the last sale was for $7,000 for 10%.
Okay. That one's closer to par. That's not terrible. I mean, usually you pay a slight premium for, a minority interest in something.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad, sale for somebody out there. And don't forget, if you have some picks, you can go out there and sell them as well. You don't have to sell the whole thing. You can keep control, keep making them, but you can get a little mini hedge, get a little of your money back. Yeah. And what you gave me how many you said were up there? I think we had what percentage of the remaining
I want to
entrants?
say over 40, I counted. There was a couple Circa Millions over there too. But
yeah, there's probably that. I think they said we had something like 30% of the remaining entries or something were up there. 20, 25, something like that a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. That's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
And look at it this way. I mean, you can just list high. If you're not sure you want to sell, put it out there. Who knows?
Yeah, pull some
the one
equity
thing,
out of it.
the one thing that a friend of ours said that I think would be fun, but it's just too hard to administer. If you leave your listing up through the weekend, that someone can hit it and they're just committed. But the reality is, you still got to get a contract signed and everything.
Correct.
But you could see some big loss and something is still available, and you quickly whack it. Kind of on it. Be kind of cool.
Sure.
I just don't know how you'd enforce it.
It has to be accepted.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, at Garfather said, at what stage does it become all too consuming for your life, this contest? I have to think that one of those entries, if it was his, he'd be a basket case.
It depends who you ask. If you ask the two of us, it's a lot of fun for a while, and you make it really, really deep. Let's say sub 50 people, it's all consuming. If you were to ask my wife, it's all consuming around July or August when we go in to buy the entries, and then it's just constant Survivor talk. Heading out here to Simply Vegas to record the pod, so it's all consuming. I think if you're doing it right, it's all consuming because the probability of winning is still low. So you better have fun doing it. So if all you're doing is closing your eyes, reaching in a hat, and pulling out a team, it's not so much fun.
I mean, we're sitting here with 221 left. We have a chip in a chair. We have a few chips in a chair. I remember the year we won it. We were sub 100. I think it was 90 something or whatever. And my wife mentioned something like, "Man, you are so close."
Right.
And I went, "We're not even."
Right.
We're not even.
You're barely sniffing. It's the illusion of close. And now I'm not trying to be negative. Even people now that believe they're close. I mean, it's the illusion of close. You might be close to a big payday because you can sell off your pick. When we did this, there was no one to sell a pick to.
No.
You got to make it through.
No Survivor Sweat platform.
And even if you were looking for people to make deals with, in theory, if you got to the end with 3 or 4 players and you wanted to chop it up, you got to find them because Circa's not telling you who they are. No. And you're out there on Twitter and you're hoping the guy that says he owns, Team X really owns Team X. You got to I want to sit there with you and watch you log in kind of thing. Yeah. It's tricky. But I think now it's, no, I don't think we're all particularly close. It's amazing how close we are after 5 weeks, but we're not really close to the end. But you're closer to a big payday because you can always, sell it, even if you're selling at a discount. If it ends up, worth $500,000 and you sell it for $400,000, it could be win-win for everybody. The guy that buys it could be thrilled, and you could be thrilled selling it.
And hence the pod was recreated. When we were making our run, we were looking everywhere, high and low, for content, podcasts, anything on Twitter, any platform, nothing out there. We were just trying to see who was out there in the universe, going through this run with us. When we got down to 50, got down to 20, got down to 16, and there was just no community for it, which...
And I remember when we were asked to do it, I was like, well, I don't know anything about doing a podcast. What am I going to do? And they go, just bullshit the way you do when you're watching games. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
so that's pretty much it. The only difference is we don't have the tequila here. No. Which I was supposed to mention. I was going to mention that with the tequila. The Telson Tequila, they're over at Circa now.
Yeah.
And they're really good. Also had them at Oscar's Steakhouse.
Yes,
and we don't have to fight over the tequila because I enjoy the añejo, and for some reason he drinks silver straight up. Silver I put in a margarita. The añejo is what I want to just sip.
Love me some Blanco. Yeah, pretty great. Yeah. Well...
All right, let's do it.
Let's
make sure we advance. I'd like to advance with twice the number of picks this time.
That would be great.
We'll probably have to go over to Survivor Sweat, buy a few more.
So again, if you have any questions, comments, you're a former champ, want to discuss anything, Circa Survivor, reach out to us on the Twitter handle, reach out to us at Survivor Sweat, get your picks in, and let's survive week 6.
Oh, and probably don't lay the wood on the Jets this week. I don't recommend it.
See you next time.
Later.
Hey!
Looking for Survivor strategy articles? Did you lose your last entry on a Survivor contest and wish you could rebuy? Check out our marketplace and you may find what you need. Head over to survivorsweat.com for all things Survivor. And we'll see you next week for the next Survivor Sweat podcast.